Hey, run it, run it, run.
Welcome back to another episode of What the L. I'm your host, Elle Kreamer, and today we're at the studio again, and we're going to be talking about how to fall in love with yourself. This is part 2 of my self-help series, and this one is crucial for happiness, crucial for your life, ultimately, because if you don't love yourself, why do you think somebody else will love you? And that is the first thing that we're going to be talking about. If you're ready to stop questioning your own worth, break the cycle of negative thoughts, and start rebuilding a powerful relationship with yourself, hit subscribe. This is going to be a new series that on my podcast where we just talk about things that are good for you and self-development and self-improving and just overall self-help. So that's what we're doing today. And if you love this, what I'm talking about, and you thought something resonated with you, please feel free to hit the subscribe button. This is your weekly dose of self-worth, growth, and everything you need to thrive. So, without further ado, we're just going to get right into it. How do I be my own safe space? And a lot of people don't have that ability to be their own safe space. And today we're going to talk about how to become that for yourself. So, in a situation where you're feeling triggered and you're possibly an anxiously attached individual like myself I once was, I'm slowly undoing those anxious attachment tendencies, because those tendencies are so self-deprecating and making the quality of your life just go down. Did you know that cortisol, the stress hormone, actually makes your lifespan shorter? It makes your arteries actually harden. So there's actually a physical effect in place whenever you are expressing these negative emotions constantly in your head. I listened to a TED Talk today about self love because I felt like if I really want to be able to give a good episode about this, I have to do some research. And there isn't a lot of self love, how to fall back in love with yourself, or how to fall in love with yourself if you haven't done that already. There's not a lot out there, and there needs to be more out there, because if there's not, how are we expected to fall in love with ourselves? And everyone's always like, these cliche sayings are what help you get there, but how do we even access if we are that type of person who is not in love with ourselves? So there's no other way around it than you simply have to put in the work to love yourself. So basically, the more information you have about yourself, the more time you spend with yourself, the more you will be able to know yourself in a stronger, more authentic way. And you can't expect somebody else to know you if you are not willing to put in that time to spend time with yourself. Spending time with yourself is the most important thing, because nobody is coming to save you. I say this again and again on this podcast. Nobody is going to be your biggest supporter other than yourself. So, with that, that means you have the power to become your own best friend within your life. And that can look like a variety of ways. For example, going on solo dates. I literally touch on this, I think, every single episode, because I think it needs to be so heard by everyone. You can go on solo dates and nobody cares that you're by yourself. I promise you, nobody cares. Nobody's thinking about, like, oh my gosh, look at that girl, she's all by herself. No, they don't care. They are just like vibing, living their life, and they're thinking solely about. Did you know that there's 70,000 thoughts going through your head a day? And did you know that 98% of those thoughts are repeats of the same thought as yesterday? And did you know that 68% of those thoughts are negative thoughts? Do you know what you could do with that 68%? Just did a fresh restart. Yes, I know that sounds stressful and like a lot, but loving yourself is so rewarding. It's a lifetime journey. I'm still going on this journey. So, it's time to stop questioning your self-worth and know yourself. Knowing yourself begins with valuing yourself without needing external validation. So, needing external validation, let's talk about that. That is something that I like negative cycle back to whenever I'm feeling unseen, unheard, unloved, etc., because I just want somebody to see me. And that is not okay. That is not cool to do, because in that way you're kind of using somebody. And whether you're intentionally doing it or not, it's just not cool, and that's something that is setting you back from unlocking your true potential if you are constantly placing or seeking validation from a place that's not inside yourself. So it's important to look inside yourself before you try to go seek validation within other people, because nobody is going to fill your cup the way that you can, the way that Jesus can. It says it in the Bible that there's a parable. There was a man with a plank in his eye, and this man had the plank in his eye, and he was trying to go help somebody else who had merely a splinter in their eye. And that is a huge lesson. You have to be able to first help yourself before you can get you have to be able to first get the plank out of your own eye before you can try to go get the splinter out of someone else's. Because if you aren't able to empower yourself, how are you supposed to empower others? Also, you can tell whenever you're not feeling empowered. You can tell whenever somebody is not loving themselves, because you can just, it shows. The stress levels show. It is scientifically proven that people who do stress, it is harder for them to lose weight because the stress levels are higher. Cortisol makes it harder for your brain to drop that weight. I don't know why. Wait, okay, according to the internet, cortisol can increase your appetite, cause cravings for unhealthy foods, promote fat storage around the abdomen, and slow down your metabolism, essentially making it harder to burn calories effectively when under chronic stress. So, when your cortisol levels are high, your body signals are at a need for more energy, leading to increased hunger and potential overeating. And making that's just messing everything up, because if you are not getting adequate sleep, if you are not just taking care of yourself, eating the right foods, and you're over consuming too much of other people's lives, or overeating or binge eating or not eating enough, or just not taking care of yourself, not helping yourself in the ways that you need, you are only slowing down the rate at which you will succeed in life and the rate of your happiness. Self-care, if you are not practicing self-care within your life, you are probably experiencing anxiety ridden thoughts, because that self-care that you have, those good habits that you place around yourself that are just habits now. A lot of people ask me, Elle, how do you get to the gym 6 days a week? I created a promise within myself that I will go do something today that I will thank myself for tomorrow. And for me, that has been the gym. And for you, that could be going on a walk. For you, that could be reading a book. For you, that could be reading the Bible in the mornings, which I definitely should be doing. My morning routine is kind of a mess, and we need to work on that. So that could be setting a 5-minute morning routine that you is like protocol. You have to follow it every single morning. Like for me, I always try to make my bed, because that's just like setting yourself up for success, like achieving the first accomplishment of the day. So like just setting up those little goals for yourself to make your life a better place, make your space neater, make your mind clearer. It just goes 20,000 miles above and beyond what somebody else would do for you, because at the end of the day, I'm going to keep saying it until it sticks. You only have yourself. So a lot of people may be asking, why don't I have a relationship with myself? And so you may ask yourself, why don't I have a relationship with myself? Because probably, let's think about it. You are analyzing other people's behaviors without having a clear cut communication with them. Like if you are just making assumptions about other people's behaviors and not first expressing to them how you're feeling, you are only creating more stress for yourself. And you are making assumptions based on your own insecurity and your insecurity alone. That is not a reflection upon the other person. That is a reflection upon you. And if you're always ruminating on the same topics with people, going back and forth in the same argument, if you're doing this day in and day out with the same thing, you are just like, what else do you expect? At this point, what are you expecting from this? So if like you always ruminating on the same topic is showing us that you don't even know what you want, and you can't clearly communicate the things that you need in your life. If you can't communicate your needs with others, how do you even expect other people to find out what your needs are? Or if you don't even know what you need, how do you expect other people to know what you need? And that's going to be such a big thing for you for the rest of your life. Comparing your life to other people's lives on social media. I will say this until it sticks also. Social media is a highlight reel. The things that you see on social media are not what is real. Like, yes, I post the good things. I sometimes post the sad things to bring light to the sad. But also, it comes at a price. You have to be kind to yourself, and you can't expect other people to give you grace if you're not first giving yourself grace. Another way that you are slowing down your success is you are self deprecating. If you just spent the time rewiring your brain, and this is how you rewire your brain, whenever you have a negative thought, redirect that. You can create a new neural pathway within your head to not be thinking about the things that you're thinking about. Like, say that you are spending those 68% of your thoughts on good, positive thoughts, the quality of your life will skyrocket. And on certain occasions, there's going to be moments whenever you overextend your love to people who can't accept it. And in this situation, that can look like you complimenting somebody. Like, I remember whenever I was super young, I would always be like, I would tell my friends, like, you look so good. You look beautiful. That dress is amazing on you. And then they'd instantly say, no, I look so fat today. My hair is messy. My skin is breaking out. And there's nothing good about this outfit. Like, I look awful. I look like trash. And then I instantly feel like I was wrong for telling them something nice. And that's not a good feeling on either end. And you just know that person's mind is a jail for them, and that person's mind is a prison, and it's hard for them to enjoy their daily life because these negative thoughts that they are having are debilitating. And if you don't think that you have a good relationship with yourself, if you find yourself people pleasing, this can also be another place of area that you need to work on within loving yourself, because if you constantly overextend yourself for other people and then not having that energy for yourself, imagine how much more you would get done in your day if you just gave yourself the love that you were giving back to so many other people. Another reason that you are looking for love outside of yourself is because you have imposter syndrome and you don't think that you deserve that love, which is completely, we need to undo that, because that takes a lot of practice and a lot of self love and a lot of inner work to be able to pinpoint that and be self aware to know that that's where that is manifesting from. Because if you are just feeling unseen, unheard, unloved, you are going to imposter syndrome yourself out of thinking that you deserve the self love. For me, that is like whenever I fail or fall short from God's love and I'm like, I'm such a bad daughter of Christ. He doesn't like, I don't he doesn't want my love, but that's me just imposter syndroming myself. I made that up as a word, but it's a thing. Like I said earlier, positive, like, there's literally scientific benefits to having a positive mindset and having positive thoughts circulating within your headspace, because positive emotions literally strengthen the integrity of your heart, and it will harden your own arteries if you are experiencing and living from a place of negative emotion. You may be asking yourself, like, how do I actually apply these things? Well, there's some non-negotiables within my life that I have set in practice for me to make sure that if I start noticing I'm lashing out at other people or being rude to being rude to my parents or just being snappy or whatever, that's because I'm for some reason feeling unseen, unheard, unloved. So in that aspect, I practice gratitude. Whenever you operate your life from a place of gratitude instead of looking at your life and you're hating it for the situation, by looking at the things, like, you have so many things that you could be grateful for right now, instead of looking at the situation you're in and thinking that it's awful, you can do those things to make your life better. Something that I also swear by is the quote, reward yourself today with something that you will thank yourself for tomorrow. For me, that is going to the gym, because I feel more confident in who I am, and I know that I'm on my shit and like taking care of my life whenever I'm going to the gym. I feel elite because I'm waking up early, not recently, because you have to have that discipline within yourself, or at least have some type of foundation for you to follow, because even if I'm not getting to the gym and doing all the things that I thought I needed to do that day, I have a baseline of something that keeps me disciplined and keeps me anchored down to the things that I need to get done within my life. Another thing that you can do to improve your relationship with yourself is daily movement. It doesn't have to be going to the gym. That can be something different for you. That could be going for a walk, could be taking your dog to the dog park, that could be walking to the coffee shop around the block from you. That could be doing Pilates, doing yoga. It doesn't have to be a lot. It could literally be 5 minutes, but that itself is like you putting in that time for yourself to invest within yourself. And once you start doing that, once you just start investing in yourself in small little ways, that will carry into all aspects of your life. And that is something that is so valuable and important. If you don't have a good self-care practice and routine for yourself, you're going to if you are not committing to yourself, not taking care of yourself, but you're crying about the relationship that you have with yourself, you your lack of self-care is the reason that you feel this way. Your lack of self-care is the reason that you have anxiety. It's the reason your thoughts are debilitating. It's the reason that you feel like you can't get out of bed or whatever it is. Everyone's situation is different. Everyone has something that they're going through. Some of us are just better at hiding it. And sometimes we have to bring these things to the light, because if you don't bring these things to the light, they're only going to stay buried within you, and it's going to keep you in the dark. And I know that you don't want to be stuck in the dark whenever there's so much light and there's so much good to live. If you just start doing the things that are good for you instead of over consuming whatever that is. That can be overconsumption of social media, under consumption of your eating. Like, food is fuel, guys. Like, I know it's so easy to like feel like we have to fit this perfect mold to be somebody that we're not, because society tells us we have to fit this one size fits all. That's just not true. That's just not true. And that is something that we, as especially women, struggle with, that body dysmorphia, that need to feel like we fit the mold. But stop putting yourself in a box. Stop limiting yourself to who you could be. Love yourself where you're at now, because if you don't love yourself where you're at now, how do you think that people are going to be able to appreciate what you've become? People appreciate the ones who've been through stuff because they started where they are and they got to somewhere even better. David Goggins has respect on his name because he was at a loss. He was at the worst point of his life and he turned his life around. And that is why people respect him. That is why he has that discipline element to him. That's why whenever people say his name, they think of discipline, they think of strength. And if you want that, you have to have discipline within your life. If you don't have a purpose within your life, if you don't have goals that are bigger than yourself, it's going to feel meaningless, your life. Your life is going to feel purposeless. If you don't have something that drives you, if you don't have something that fulfills you, it doesn't have to be a huge thing, but even simply having a job, that can be your purpose. Some people don't even have those, okay? And not trying to downplay the people who don't have jobs, but some people like are on the streets and don't have that, okay? And they're struggling to find that. So be grateful for what you be grateful that you passed the interview. Like, literally. And if you didn't, then rejection is redirection. And you can redirect your neurotransmitters somewhere else if they aren't fitting the vibe in your brain. If you are unhappy with your life, look at the environment that you're in. If your headspace is clouded with jaded with all of these negative thoughts, of course you're gonna feel like these negative thoughts consume you. People are simply an addition to your life. They are not the reason that you fall short, and you need to stop blaming that on other people, for starters, and take accountability in the areas that you need work on. And that's not weak to take accountability. That's strength. That's vulnerability. A lot of people aren't even real with themselves and they don't even know who they are. So take the time to start knowing yourself, investing in yourself. Stop investing into all these other people who don't even know you, who don't even want to get to know you. They're just trying to use you to their advantage because they see you as an easy target, frankly. So, according to Google, it says a good relationship with yourself significantly improves your quality of life by boosting your confidence. Yeah, we talked about that. Enhancing your ability to cope with challenges. So, that is going back to being your own safe space. Whenever you are in a situation you're feeling triggered, and you're feeling like you need to reach out to somebody else, this is whenever you come in and you are able to be your own anchor and calm yourself down, because you are strong enough to cope with these things on your own, because you have created a good environment, a good headspace for you. And that fosters positive mental health and it helps you to evolve. If you have a good relationship with yourself, it improves your social interactions and it allows you to make decisions aligned with your true values, leading to overall satisfaction and fulfillment in life. So you will live a more fulfilled life if you work on improving that relationship with yourself. And this is not an overnight practice. I have been practicing self love for since I was a child, because there were some people in my life who didn't make me feel seen as a child. And that child struggled. She had hardships. But, from a young age, I was able to pick myself back up and be my own best friend. And through trial and error, it's not going to be an easy road, but you will be able to get to that place eventually if you just keep implementing those practices. It's going to become second nature for you. I don't question about going to the gym. I just do it. It's like brushing your teeth. I don't question that because I've made it such a positive role in my life. That's just part of my life now. Thank you so much for listening. That is all I have today for you. Make sure to subscribe to my podcast. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you listen to this on Apple Music, you're only getting to see the audio version. Don't be limited to that because I have a YouTube channel as well. And that is also fun. So make sure you check that out. I make new episodes every single Friday. And I'm so grateful for everyone here. And with that, I will see you guys next week. Love you. Bye.